shopgear.com.
The following is a presentation of the Gear Radio Network.
From Wherever We Decide Studios, broadcasted live on iTunes, Spreaker, and worldwide, this is the Turnbuckle Talk Radio Podcast with your hosts, the Crimson Cyclone himself, Cyclone Jones, and of course, the producer, Pat G. The G stands for Gangsta. And now kick back and get ready for the eargasms.
Ladies and gentlemen, you know me, I know you, we know each other. Cyclone Jones in the building, back again. And as always, we always say things happen, life goes on, but it doesn't matter because you're listening to the podcast, baby. Turnbuckle Talk Radio Podcast. Pat G, right beside me. The G stands for Gangsta. Pat G, tell them what it is.
Yes, it is another edition of the TTRP brought to you by Gear Network and, of course, shopgear.com.
Of course, you shop, you buy, you help us produce this show.
Along with all the other great shows from Gear Network.
Yes, like Better Off Than Live Dead again.
Something like that.
What's the right one?
Better Live Than Dead.
Better Live Than Dead, because it's a play on words, because it's live, but you're dead if you don't listen to it. So it's live, better live than dead. Get
yes,
it?
Of course. There's
play on words.
There's also the Sabres cast.
The Sabres cast.
Which is following the Sabres from their season.
Also, hold on, wait, the return of the JC Money Show. So, I mean, we got a lot of things to listen to. So check us out, gearnetwork.com, and help us, help you, helping you to help us.
Entertain you with
exactly.
our podcasting skills.
And shop on gearnetwork.com with the Amazon link.
Absolutely.
Cool beans. So let's get down to the nitty gritty, Pat G. Let's talk wrestling like we usually do.
We do. And we're going to talk Elimination Chamber.
WWE Elimination Chamber. The very first women's tag team championship has been crowned. Two women now hold the titles around their waists.
They do.
But before we tell you who they were, because I'm sure you saw the pay-per-view, we're going to talk about who was in the who was in the podcast. That's what I was going to say.
Who was in the podcast?
Who was in the podcast?
I would love if all those people was in the podcast.
I mean, we can get them on.
Eventually, hopefully, one day.
I do secret missions now.
Oh, you do secret missions.
I do secret missions.
You do secret missions now. Up first, you have the team of Nia Jax and Tamina.
Yep.
Taking on the Riot Squad of Liv Morgan and Sarah Logan.
Liv Morgan.
Taking on Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville. I can't remember their tag team
Don't even worry about it. Just Mandy Rose. Even over Liv Morgan. Mandy Rose. Okay, go ahead.
Versus the Iconics of Billie Kay and Peyton Royce.
Oh, yes, the Iconics.
Versus Fabulous Glow, Naomi and Carmella.
Naomi's married. Carmella is smashing...
We'll talk about that.
Okay.
We'll talk about that.
Okay.
That's for later in the show.
Blowing the spot like Pat G.
And then the Boston Hug connection of Bayley and Sasha Banks.
Never was a Boss fan, but okay.
You were never a Boss fan?
Never was really a Boss fan. I mean, I liked her style, but I never really was a fan.
Oh.
I liked her when she first came out. She was a big heel, and then that was it.
Some people are always better heels than faces.
Yeah. And then it was like, oh, she's Snoop Dogg cousins. And I'm like, oh, that's how you got in. Never mind.
Yeah. You're like, that's how you got in.
No.
That explains that.
That didn't stop that, though. But no, I just never was a fan. Just like I never was a Hulk Hogan fan. Like I liked Hulk Hogan. I was Hulk Hogan. But I never was a fan of Hulk Hogan. So.
This match was a good match overall. Mm-hmm. A lot of solid tag team spots. The Iconics spot where they pinned Naomi, I loved. That was great.
Okay.
Because it was a solid tag team move, and it gave the Iconics some Iconics a shine.
Right.
Because for the most part, like ever since the Iconics have came on, they haven't been a formidable opponent. They've been
they've just been there.
Yeah.
You know, and they've just been I don't want to say comic relief, but they've been that female presence and not really a wrestling presence, I think.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. To where this match and them having the spots that they had gave them that wrestling presence. And then you had the team of Nia and Tamina, who entered last. Mm-hmm. But everybody else that was in the match saw that and tried to pretty much outnumber them.
Right.
But Nia and Tamina worked to their strengths. That power game that both of them have. And then, of course, you had the other three teams with playing the roles that they played well. You had Bayley and Sasha. You had Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville. And then, of course, you had the Riot Squad. Mm-hmm. Those three teams made the match move. Like,
was Mandy Rose in the match?
She was. She didn't get eliminated first like she did last year.
Okay. I was just saying because Mandy Rose is Mandy Rose.
This is true. What, are you going all Corey Graves on me now?
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
Mandy damn Rose. Have you not seen her?
I've seen Mandy Rose.
Damn right.
I prefer Sonya Deville. I'm just saying.
Okay. So, Sonya Deville don't play for your team. Sorry.
I know
I'm
that.
sorry. She plays for your team.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
And she's already openly said that. So, yeah those chances are gone.
Hey, I just said I prefer her more than I do Mandy.
Okay. Anyways. Next, so the winners of this match
was Bayley and Sasha.
And they are the brand new, first ever WWE
Women's Tag Team Champions.
Women's Tag Team Champions. Which is amazing. Like, everybody knew this was coming. It was long overdue. Just women wrestling has evolved into this huge conglomerate of awesomeness, I think.
Absolutely. It has.
It's not the bathroom break anymore. It used to be. And some matches are sometimes. Some matches are still the bathroom break, depending on who it is.
This is true.
But now the women are actually getting a chance to prove themselves, and a lot of them are doing it. However, I still feel as though WWE is forcing a lot of people down your throats instead of building up the right ones. Like, no?
I agree to a point.
And let me take that back, because I said that wrong. Not build up the right ones, just build up the roster. Instead of building up the roster, should I say. So not the right one, just building up the roster.
Yeah.
Because what they're doing still is they're still force-feeding Bayley. They're still force-feeding Sasha. They're still force-feeding Ronda's the main name right now. So, of course, they're going to force-feed Ronda.
The focus is on a certain few where the others need the attention, should have the attention.
I think, in my opinion, you have your big names, and then you start building up the right ones instead of waiting until something happens to build those ones up.
Well, it's something that we'll get into later. Later on. But up next was the Smackdown Live Tag Team Championships. The Miz and Shane McMahon taking on the Usos. This was what it was. Shane McMahon get GYSI.
Yep, got to.
Miz hits the skull crushing finale, but Jay rolls into a crucifix, gets the 1, 2, 3. The Usos are now the 6-time tag team champions.
Which I liked that finish. It was he hit him with the finish, but he rolled him up and got the pin. I liked that. I did like how Shane hit the coast to coast.
And then the elbow.
However, him going for a second coast to coast, which took him out of the match, I don't think personally made sense.
Yeah.
Because they were waiting there way too long. Of course he's going to get up. Too predictable.
And the way Shane landed on his feet.
Yeah, too predictable. So, but I mean, it was good. Like, Shane is way athletic than anybody could ever think. Like, the man is
he still can go.
He still got it.
His punches are horrible, but he can work.
He can work.
That match, like seeing Shane McMahon, I feel like he's definitely been in the Performance Center working out and going over stuff.
Of course, you have to be. Especially
he was more crisp with a lot of the moves.
Mm-hmm. Of course.
Up next was the IC title match to be defended in a handicap match as the champion Bobby Lashley and Leo Rush took on Finn Balor. And, of course, I was so right about this match that Leo Rush was going to take the pin so Balor could win the title.
I mean, in all honesty, everybody knew Leo Rush was going to take the pin. That's why the match was done. Like, I mean, anybody that saw this match knew it was a handicap match. You knew Balor was going to win and pin Leo Rush.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Yeah.
You know, because you knew he wasn't going to pin Lashley by beating up Lashley. You got to have a long match with Lashley, plus you got Leo Rush kicking you in the back of the head, stopping anything. So you pin the smaller guy.
They played this, like, the psychology of the match was well.
Yes, it was. It was.
Like, they were using the 2-on-1 advantage until Finn, like, finally caught Leo and Finn took over.
Yep, he caught Leo, beat Leo up.
Yep.
You know, he
took out Lashley.
He stunned Lashley enough that he can pin Leo. Yep. Boom, done. Good match, though. It was a good match. It was played. It was well
played to the strengths.
Well thought out match.
Yeah. They announced the 2020 Royal Rumble will be in Houston at Minute Maid Park. I personally, if they do the Royal Rumbles in, like, baseball stadiums, I'm personally okay with that because it gives the Royal Rumble a big time feel.
Yep.
And the Royal Rumble pretty much is like that third pay-per-view.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is.
Up next was the Raw Women's Championship match, Ronda Rousey versus Ruby Riott. Minute and a half. Rousey gets the armbar, tap out, good night, call it a day. This leads to Charlotte getting in the ring. Becky comes out, beats them both with crutches to further said angle.
I don't like this because, yes, Becky is the man, but Ronda Rousey and Charlotte, two of your biggest stars, get beat up by one of the stars who is injured.
Who is injured
on two crutches.
Suspended and with crutches.
Exactly. It doesn't make any sense to me. I didn't like this at all. Did not like it at all.
It worked for what it was.
Did it?
But no,
I mean, it worked. I mean, it worked
to keep them together.
It worked to get Becky over as saying she's suspended and she's going to do what she wanted. But with her injury, I don't like it.
Yeah,
because how are you still fast enough to beat these two girls up, regardless if you got a crutch or not?
Exactly. Up next was the no DQ match, Braun Strowman versus Baron Corbin. We all knew what was going to happen with this.
I didn't know I didn't know they were coming out.
If you did not know, okay, I will say I wasn't expecting Lashley. I expected McIntyre.
Yeah, that's true.
McIntyre I did not expect Lashley. They kind of threw the curveball with Lashley. Strowman being Strowman until Lashley and McIntyre come out. They gang up, hit the Shield powerbomb through two tables. Corbin gets the victory. And then apparently Lacey Evans decided to show off the crowd.
I like Lacey Evans.
I like it, Lacey Evans too.
I'm waiting for her to get a good spot in order for her to do something.
On a side note, the Lacey Evans interrupting the show, coming out, waving her hand, Miss America style, and all that, is the start of a super big push for her. Mm-hmm. And Lacey Evans is going to it's been talked about, reported through a couple sources, that Lacey Evans is going to replace Ronda Rousey as one of the big three. Because Ronda Rousey is reported to be leaving after Mania.
Right, because she wants to start a family. Right.
So it's the slow build up for Lacey Evans.
That's if Lacey Evans can actually make sure that her work is crisp.
I believe it is. She is very good in the ring.
In the Rumble, she wasn't, though.
In the Rumble,
in NXT,
yeah.
NXT, she's good.
Yeah, in the Rumble,
she was sloppy.
Yeah, she was.
And she needs to make sure it's crisp, because once you get to the big shot, once you get to the big league,
you need it.
And let me not even call it the big league, because, I mean, once
you get to get to
the main roster, you got to make sure you're crisp, or you're going to fall to the wayside.
The WWE likes her because she is a mother and a former Marine.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Her back. It's been reported that they want her to be the female Roman Reigns.
Awesome. That's cool.
That's what's been reported as far as Lacey Evans.
I'm good with that.
Then
the main event,
which on a side note that I'll talk to you about after we get through this, the Elimination Chamber match for the WWE Championship, the champion Daniel Bryan defending against AJ Styles, Jeff Hardy, Randy Orton, Samoa Joe, and Kofi Kingston.
Kofi Kingston has been on a run.
He has been.
On a run right now. He's doing his thing.
Hashtag Kofi Mania.
Hashtag Kofi Mania. It's been how long? 11 years?
11. He's been in the WWE 11 years, and I honestly think Kofi's had one, maybe two title matches as far as the heavyweight championship goes.
I think so.
I think one, maybe two.
They pulled him from the Randy Orton.
Yep, they pulled because the Elimination Chamber in 2009.
Yep, they pulled him from the Randy Orton title shot. I don't know why.
And I think that was it. I think that's been it. I think the Randy Orton one might have been the only one. That
was it also, yeah. You know, but I mean, I don't know why. Like first, they started to do the Randy. He was Jamaican at the Jamaican accent.
Yeah.
And then they cut it. It was like, nah, dude.
Like he was from Jamaica, and then people started realizing Kofi Kingston was actually from Ghana, and it was like WWE finally realized. People started to notice this, and they're like, and then they're like, okay, he's from Ghana, West Africa.
Let's just do a regular voice.
Yeah, let's just go with regular. This match was very solid.
Yeah,
great work by all, but it really kicked into gear when Daniel Bryan and Kofi Kingston were left by themselves, and that's when it was. People were strongly behind Kofi. The crowd was legit and everything because everybody knew how hard Kofi had worked for this moment.
Yeah.
And then
like prior to that, he had that gauntlet match to see if he can be the last entry.
Yep.
You know? So, I mean, and he ran through the champion. He ran through Samoa Joe. He ran through AJ Styles.
Yep.
You know, he ran through Jeff Hardy. So he ran the gauntlet all the way up until Randy Orton.
That's the thing. He ran the gauntlet. And a lot of people, because after that gauntlet match, a couple days later, people were like, "Oh, well, Kofi just got what what's his face was going to get," and the guy from 205 Live, Mustafa Ali.
Yeah,
and I'm like, no, yes, okay, Kofi got booked in Ali's spot, but Kofi's the one that did the work in the ring.
Exactly.
Kofi made everything look good. Everything looked good.
Yes.
Crisp.
The opportunity came from Mustafa Ali's injury.
Yes.
He injured his tailbone.
Yep.
You know, so yes, he did get the opportunity because of that. But Kofi has been a staple in WWE since, you know, his first Royal Rumble match where he did the superfied, you know.
Yeah, the escape attempt.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and he's been doing it every month, every Rumble.
And also, Kofi's been a multiple time tag team champion. He's had the U.S. title. He's had the IC title. He's had the secondary titles. Kofi's never really been given that main event spot, that main event push. Finally, now Kofi's getting it.
So, question before we even go into it.
Yep.
Before we even go to the end of the match. Well, actually, no. Let's finish the match.
Well, Bryan and Kofi go. Bryan hits the knee. Kofi kicks out. Kofi hits the Paradise.
Trouble in Paradise.
Bryan kicks out. Kofi, they're both on top of the pod. Kofi dumps Bryan off, goes for a splash, misses. Bryan hits him with the knee for the 1, 2, 3. And then after the match, it was reported after that Bryan told him that you belong here with me. And then Kofi's New Day compatriots, Xavier Woods, Big E come out, and Kofi gets a standing ovation walking out of the arena, getting played out by the New Day music.
Okay. So now I ask you this. And these are always factors that play into it as well, because WWE does that. With it being February, Black History Month.
Yep.
With Kofi Kingston getting this push because of the opportunity. With Kofi Kingston putting on the stellar performance that he did. Does he get the opportunity and or championship at WrestleMania or Fastlane?
I believe he gets the title at Fastlane. Does he make it to Mania with the title? Probably not. No, they could easily he could easily have it up until he could have it for a week past the show, 2 weeks. But before you're at Mania, Daniel Bryan will have the title back if Kofi wins it.
But there's no more rematch clause, though. Remember now.
That's true.
When you win a title, there's no more rematch clause.
That is true. Unless the WWE is going to go with Kofi as the champion going into Mania defending the title.
Right.
Which, honestly, Kofi Kingston deserves that.
He does.
Because there's been a lot of people in the WWE that have had long careers, 10, 11, 12, 15 years, that finally get that opportunity. You've seen it with Kane. You've seen it with others.
You've seen it with Ray.
You've seen it with Mysterio. Where they've been in the company for so long, they've lived by the WWE's rules and terms that finally the brass in the WWE go, okay, here's your reward.
But the thing is, you have to acknowledge the work that Kofi has put in over the years.
Oh, absolutely.
And you have to acknowledge the hard work and dedication that he's given this company. You guys gave him a gimmick which was bound to fail. New Day was bound to fail.
Oh, New Day
let's just call a spade a spade.
Oh yeah,
right
New Day was bound to fail. They stuck Kofi, Xavier Woods, and Big E in a spot that was bound to fail.
That was mid-card at best.
Yep, a mid-card comedy act.
Mid-card at best, which was going to be and they came out as a heel team at first a little bit. They came out as face. Nobody liked him, and then they went heel. Then he became face again.
Yeah.
So once they started to make it their own, then New Day became a great thing, a household name.
Yep.
Bootios, everything, the
pancakes, unicorns and the pancakes,
all
and
of that merchandise is through the roof. So they did it. They took exactly what you gave them
and made it something.
They took that turd that you gave them, polished it, and turned it into a diamond.
Yep.
So, my opinion, you have to give that title to him. He's earned it over his stellar career. He's earned it, regardless of what reason you want to give it to him for.
And what I equate this to, because I watched the Mark Henry special.
I missed it
after the pay-per-view. And I equate Kofi winning if Kofi wins the title at Fastlane, I equate that same emotional reaction to when Mark Henry defeated Randy Orton in Night of Champions here in Buffalo.
Oh yeah, that is right.
When back in 2011, when Mark Henry finally reached that mountaintop.
Yep. Like when Booker T beat Kevin Nash here in Buffalo in the cage.
Fall Brawl 2000. I was at that show.
I was there too.
Yeah. I was 15 rows from ringside.
Yeah. I can't remember where I was. I was up to 5. I think I was in the 200s.
Yeah.
Wow, you were there. Oh my gosh. We crossed paths, didn't even know it because I didn't know you then.
We didn't.
Oh my goodness, Pat G. Oh my gosh.
Anytime WCW came close enough to the Buffalo, I went.
Yeah.
Because I was such a WCW mark.
Yeah. I was a WCW fan as well. Not Mark, fan, Pat G, fan.
I was a fan of WCW. I was. And I still, like, watching the old, and like I said, I've been watching the old Nitros, and now I've gotten to that 99, 2000 era. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Like, it's
awesome.
it's bad. It's sometimes hard to get through them. But speaking of Monday night, we move on to Monday Night Raw, and the announcement of the first entry to the 2019 WWE Hall of Fame.
Yes. And with that being said...
Originally...
No. With that being said, we're going to take a break. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Cyclone Jones, and I am with Pat G. The G stands for gangster. And remember, the TTRP is sponsored by the Geared Network store through Amazon. If you visit shopgear.com... it's a little bit different. That's shop, GERE.com, and click on any of the banners. It will take you right to your account, and you can do all your Amazon shopping there.
when you shop Amazon and Amazon Prime, but Amazon kicks back a small percentage of your purchases back to us here at the Gear Network, so we can continue to bring you the great program that you've come to know and love, like the TTRP Turnbuckle Talk Radio podcast, Better Live Than Dead, the FTW podcast, the JC Money Show, and Trust the Podcast from the Gear Network. So that's shopgear.com, shopgere.com for all your Amazon and Amazon Prime purchases from us here at the Gear Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're back. And like Pat G was talking about, we're going to talk about the Hall of Fame, Monday Night Raw, call-ups, all that good stuff that happens on a Monday Night Raw after a pay-per-view. Let's go, Pat G. Tell them what it is.
Yes, Triple H came out and announced that what everybody else knew because of earlier in the day, the ESPN report, D-Generation X will be the first inductees into the 2019 WWE Hall of Fame.
D-Generation X!
Now,
you can keep talking.
While I'm happy for D-Generation X, I am. This now gives Shawn Michaels.
He couldn't really talk over the music.
I couldn't. This now gives Shawn Michaels his second Hall of Fame ring.
Yep.
Tying him with Ric Flair.
Yep.
This puts Triple H into the Hall of Fame.
Wow, finally, yeah.
This puts Triple H into the Hall of Fame.
Which will give him 2, though.
Which will give him 2, because you damn well sure Triple H is going to go in by himself.
Let's just look at it from this point of view with Triple H. His career is extensive. Like, he's been wrestling for a long time. A lot of people will be like, oh, it's Triple H. He's in WWE. He's married to Stephanie McMahon. But if you don't know who the true blue blood is, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I remember Triple H's
If you don't know who Terra Rising is, shut up.
Yeah, I remember Triple H's, one of his interviews or promos when he first got to WCW. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't just say, oh, he's married to Stephanie McMahon, he's going in. No. He put the fucking work in.
Okay, if you don't know who took the fallout for the Madison Square curtain call, shut up.
Yeah. So, but go ahead. So Triple H,
Road Dogg Jesse James,
yep,
Billy Gunn, X-Pac, and Chyna. Now, a lot of people were, hey, they're great. Chyna's in.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of people believe Chyna deserved to be in on her own. As well, a lot of people said X-Pac deserved to be in by himself.
Mm-hmm.
But in all honesty, you have to look. It was one of them things of you have to take a little to give a little.
Yeah.
This was how Chyna was going to get it.
Yeah, I mean, and you have to take that as a grain of salt.
I'm not saying Chyna doesn't deserve to be in by herself. She does. After D-Generation X split, whatever, Chyna had a very, very good career.
Mm-hmm.
She was the first woman to hold the IC title.
Right.
She was the first woman to enter the Royal Rumble.
Right.
She broke a lot of barriers.
Right. She did.
But like other people in the past wrestling, unfortunately, your choices after you leave the business tend to
follow you.
Chyna made a lot of bad choices.
She did.
Now, Chyna, God rest her soul, rest in peace. She attempted to reach out to WWE multiple times and quote unquote fix the bridge.
Right.
Unfortunately, she was unable to, but you know what? She's in the Hall of Fame. She's in. They will talk about her. She's in. Right.
I mean, and that's the thing with, like, regard, you can't nitpick this one. Like, as soon as she left, there's a lot of different things that she even said about the WWE that they didn't like.
Absolutely.
And then with her being open with the drugs and,
the adult entertainment
the
stuff.
adult entertainment stuff, all of that. Like, she tarnished her image. Unfortunately, she did. Regardless of what you think, that's what she did, unfortunately.
And, and the thing is you have to give Triple H a lot of credit, because Triple H, over the past 5, 6, 7 years, has been trying to repair bridges with past stars.
Oh yeah, Triple H, and that's another reason why, if you got anything to say about Triple H going to the Hall of Fame, suck a dick.
Triple H is the reason Bruno Sammartino is in the Hall of Fame, where he belongs.
Triple H is the reason why NXT is doing so well right now. Like, he is all about the independent wrestler, because that's what he was before.
Yep.
Like, he's not just one of the guys that just came in and was like, oh, I'm a wrestler. No, like, he came from it. So he knows all about it. That's what he wants.
He's a very business-minded person.
Yeah.
This is how... and the thing is I know there were a lot of other people after this announcement were made. Well, what about the Hart Foundation? Yes, it was reported back in early January that they were considering the Hart Foundation to be the first inductee. Mm-hmm. But there were issues with the British Bulldog, and there were issues with Owen Hart.
Yep.
From their family-wise. Mm-hmm. Even though there was the report today that a British newspaper pulled the ad to start campaigning for the British Bulldog to be put in the Hall of Fame. Honestly, hopefully between now and, say, WrestleMania, mm-hmm. or, say, a week before Mania, WWE, whoever, Triple H, maybe comes to some kind of agreement with Owen Hart's family.
Right.
Because, honestly, now you have China in, Owen Hart is that last name that deserves to be in that I can think of.
But will Owen be in, though? I don't think he will.
At some point, I'm hoping, but I don't think he will be either.
His wife ain't trying to hear that. She don't want no part of it.
Yeah.
She don't. So...
But, and then also with Raw, you saw the debuts of the NXT 4, Aleister Black,
yep.
Johnny Gargano,
yep.
Tommaso Ciampa.
Thank you for saying Ricochet's name last, because he's an amazing worker.
And Ricochet.
Thank you. I was going to yell at you if you didn't say his name back, the last name.
Ricochet was going last, because Ricochet's I'm sorry, as good as the other three are, Ricochet's the best of the four.
Ricochet is amazing.
And... speaking of Ricochet, mm-hmm. and the NXT call-ups, there was a report that a lot of people didn't know it was supposed to happen.
What was that?
Vince McMahon went rogue.
Really?
Yep. Vince McMahon went rogue and talked to someone and said, who are the top 4 in NXT? Mm-hmm. He was given these names... and he brought him up, and not even Triple H knew.
Wow.
Yep. No, and like I said, you got to take the reporting with a grain of salt, because it is from the Wrestling Observer and that guy.
Oh goodness, but, DM.
Yep, DM. You got to take it with a grain of salt. You have to take it with a grain of salt. But he was stated that Vince McMahon felt the reason the ratings are down is because the product is stale.
It is.
The stars are stale, and it's like, we don't have any superstars, and these guys that we have aren't going to be superstars, so we need to make new superstars, so we got to get the guys that we haven't ruined.
Yeah.
And then, on top of this, a lot of people... he said that Vince is reacting to the ratings. There's a lot of reaction to AEW. And basically, he wanted to get wrestlers on Raw now, so he's not that up on NXT. And he basically said, well, who are your best 4 guys down there?
Yep.
And then on top of it, with these 4 gentlemen coming up, there's a lot of talk in the locker room that people are afraid of their spots being taken.
Well,
even the more recent call-ups from NXT.
Well, she is, though. I mean, she is. But they are. I mean, listen, with these guys coming up, like, you got to understand that these guys are coming to take spots. And it's not anything where it's malicious. It's not a negative, but this is still a business.
Yep.
You called me up for a reason. I'm coming up here to build my name as well as build the company's name.
Yeah, absolutely. Also with these 4 names coming up, because it's been pretty much confirmed that these 4 are going to work Raw, SmackDown, and NXT. Mm-hmm. They're going to at least until the takeover WrestleMania weekend. Mm-hmm. And then it's assumed after that takeover, these 4 will be on the main roster permanently.
Right.
Also, you have a returning Sami Zayn. You have a returning Kevin Owens.
Yep.
There's Kurt Angle is still in the mix.
You got a returning Bray Wyatt soon.
You have a returning Bray Wyatt. You have there's still guys. There's guys to return from injury and whatnot. Mm-hmm. And you still have the guys that are on the Legends part-time deal.
Right. But my thing is this, though. Let me stop you there. My thing is this, though. I don't think it's a lack of roster talent. I think it's the storyline.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's the writers that need to be 86th.
Well,
and get new writers.
Right there. The statement was there. It's our superstars are stale.
Yeah.
Our product is stale.
It's because of the freaking writers. You have the people there. You have Bobby Lashley. You have Drew McIntyre. You have Braun. You've got Corbin. You've got Finn. You've got Lucha.
House Party.
No, House Party's on.
Yep.
Are they on Raw?
They are on Raw.
You've got all these. You got Leo Rush. You've got the Revival. You've got Rude, and you got all these talents. But your writers suck dick.
Yep.
And you're blaming it on the talent.
Yep.
Okay, I'm done. I'm sorry. I'm just ranting.
It's just from a few months back where it's there was a report of they felt the talent needed to get themselves over, and they weren't doing it.
Right.
Well, the talent can only work with what they're given with.
Exactly.
And then on top of it, before we go to another break, the crowd in Lafayette, Louisiana sucked. That crowd had no reaction whatsoever. Hey, you know what? 2 years ago, DIY, Gargano and Ciampa, and the Revival had a hell of a match.
Yep.
2 out of 3 falls. Mm-hmm. Monday Night Raw, they had a decent match.
Yep.
That crowd could not give a shit less or not. There was 0 to no reaction whatsoever.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know, man.
But we're going to take a break, come back, we're going to have an interview with a special guest, and we're going to finish this up.
All right, cool beans. Ladies and gentlemen, you know how we do another podcasting interview. Turnbuckle Talk Radio presents Julia Schfini.
And with this interview, it's someone that isn't in the wrestling business, but is a wrestling fan. But she's a podcaster and a voice actor.
So we're kind of doing from the stands, but not really from the stands?
Kind of like that, and kind of also a little bit of a collabo, because Julia hosts her own podcast called Spirits.
Is our second collabo?
It is.
Our second collabo.
Nice.
OMG.
Excited to see who I was up against.
She's surveying the competition.
We're not competition.
Yeah.
We're all family in the podcasting world.
We are.
Rising tide raises all ships.
Well, Julia, thank you for joining us. We truly appreciate it. Again, my name is Cyclone Jones. This is Pat G. The G stands for gangster. And just, introduce yourself, even though I did already introduce you already.
Sure. My name is Julia Schfini. I am a podcaster, voice actor, social media correspondent, I guess. I do a bunch of different stuff. Too many things that I can really list.
Okay. Alrighty.
Well, with Julia, this interview came because while I've been working my overnights at my actual job, I discovered the podcast called Powerless. And Julia was a guest, which led me to her podcast, Spirits, that I've been listening to. And then that led me to another podcast that she guest hosted on, where her and another person were talking about the first ever Women's Royal Rumble from last year.
This sounds like the 7 Degrees of Kevin Bacon.
I was going to say there is a joke within the audio fiction community that you can play 6 Degrees of Julia Schfini.
It's awesome.
So essentially, I am now within the 6 degrees of Julia Schfini.
There you go.
That's awesome.
There is a random thought that you can get to Kevin Bacon from my audio fiction work within 5 degrees, so that's kind of impressive.
Oh, see, this became an awesome interview right now. Just an awesome interview.
I try my best.
So tell us a little bit about yourself. How did you get into the podcasting world?
I started podcasting after I graduated college because I was in sort of like a dead-end job, which was for a wellness and spa company that definitely wasn't a front for money laundering. Wink. But I was doing it with my best friend. We were both in these kind of really dead-end jobs, and we decided, hey, we like to drink and talk about death and mythology. Why don't we do that into microphones once a week?
Okay.
And from that, Spirits was born, and then I kind of fell into audio fiction and voice acting from there, just kind of appreciating the genre and then actually auditioning for things and getting parts.
Oh, super cool.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Now, with your wrestling, I know we've kind of talked and everything. You said you've been wrestling for a few years. What started your wrestling fandom?
So I used to watch wrestling when I was a kid. I would use it as I would say that I couldn't sleep and then I couldn't sleep as an excuse to watch it with my dad on weekends. I would just be like, oh yeah, can't sleep. 4-year-old me trying to just weasel my way onto the couch to watch The Rock do his thing. I actually got in trouble in I guess it wasn't kindergarten. I guess it was preschool. I got in trouble in preschool for putting another kid into a figure 4 leg lock once.
Oh, see, that's awesome.
Which I can't even do that now, so that's pretty impressive.
See, and you just made me feel really, really old because you said 4 years old watching The Rock, and I'm like, oh my gosh.
I am but a wee babe.
And I'm probably old enough to be your father, but we're not even going to go there.
We're good. And then I kind of got back into wrestling when my then boyfriend, now husband, and I moved in together. And he would watch it because I used to sleep in real late, so he would watch it Saturday mornings, on Hulu.
Yep.
And I sat down one day and I was like, what is going on? And it was the Randy Orton-Bray Wyatt feud.
Yeah.
When Randy Orton burned down the complex.
Oh, God. Such a horrible time. Such a horrible time.
Not the best thing to get me into wrestling, but it did get me into wrestling, so I have to appreciate that at least.
It reignited the fandom.
It did. Which... I guess I have to give Randy Orton that credit at least.
Okay, so last night I was actually listening to one of your podcasts, the Spirits podcast, which was really cool because in the beginning of the podcast you guys are talking about you got to have a drink. Like, where's your drink? What are you drinking on? And I was listening to the La Llorona. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was a super cool podcast. I mean, that was just awesome just to hear the interactions and the stories being told with your podcast. More in depth, what made you get into that, or what's your fascination with the mythological world?
So I picked up a book called Mythology by Edith Hamilton, probably when I was in 2nd or 3rd grade. Mm-hmm. And I just kind of fell in love with the idea of Greek mythology. Like, the stories felt really personal to me, even though they were told thousands of years ago. And so it always kind of stuck with me as mythology is something that I really, really love. And I consider myself a lifetime learner. I always want to learn something new. Mm-hmm. So when I went to college, I majored in history, but I also ended up getting a 2nd degree completely separate from my history major in religious studies because I was just I really love this topic, and I forgot how much I love it until I got to a college where the professors could actually tell me interesting things besides what I was reading in books.
Oh, that's super cool.
Yeah.
Now, with the Greek mythology, and your vast knowledge of it, have you seen some of the Greek mythology that possibly has influenced wrestling in certain ways?
I will say, I don't want to give too many spoilers away, but April, we're going to be doing an episode on The Undertaker for our Spirits episode. So I am very, very excited about that. And I think that you can see a lot of like really great examples of not even like mythology, but just like ancient storytelling in wrestling. I like to explain to people who aren't fans of wrestling, like wrestling is just the basic concepts of storytelling and like the hero's journey broken down into like very simple storytelling, and then people fight.
Right, exactly. Like that's like, exactly what it is. It's
like Joseph Campbell's Hero of a Thousand Faces, or even the hero's journey are both really good examples of, hey, we can just like distill storytelling down to these essences and then put in whatever characters we want.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
absolutely. Now with like I said, yeah, I discovered you talking about wrestling with the Women's Royal Rumble. Now, with the whole women's revolution that has happened over the last year or 2 years, what's your feel now that they finally have reached the pinnacle of their main eventing, their titles, they're in main storylines?
I'm happy with everything that we're kind of going through at this point. I think that I said it on Pairing, I'm still a little iffy about how the WWE in particular handles the women's revolution and now evolution, mainly because the way they frame it is like, you women have overcome this huge monster, this beast, this dragon. I'm like, yeah, but that was you, WWE. You were the beast, you were the dragon, you were the monster. Like, you can't reframe the story now. That doesn't make sense.
You know what?
She's like, wait, no, I'm being realist and logical about this.
To be 100% honest, I never even saw that. And that's so sad. Like, I'm a pro wrestler, and I never even saw that. Like, you've overcome this big monster of a mountain. You've made it to this. You worked so hard, but you're the one holding me back. My own employer.
You were the ones putting on the blockade. Come on.
You're putting up the blockade, telling me to get over it. Why?
Which is her saying that, which is a whole different view of it now if you really look at it. Mm-hmm. And if you go back and you look at all the women's matches from like the early 90s and the bra and panties and this and that, like, you now realize, you're like, wait, that makes actual sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, like, even looking back 5 years ago where we were still having those like 3-minute diva matches and that was it, like the Bella Twins weren't really working. They would put on like the bathroom break shows, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So oh, well, see, oh my gosh, you said April, and I want to talk about The Undertaker, but I can't.
Not yet.
We're not going to do any spoilers. Fans listening to that one, because I'm listening to that one. But with The Undertaker, I mean, so with The Undertaker, actually, he is now doing independent shows, which is amazing. Like, I would give my left arm, and I'll give Pat G's left arm. I'll give Pat G's left arm to get him on the podcast. Like, I'm trying to think, how would that? Well, if you had one question to ask The Undertaker on your podcast, what would it be?
Man, I think it'd probably be like just like questions about like where he developed the gimmick, like at what point like was he picking the lightning effects, and like at what point like was the whole Urn storyline kind of figured out, and like I just want to like dive into the mythos of The Undertaker just as a person.
Okay.
From all the changes he's had throughout his career, because you started that November of '91 in Survivor Series, and all the changes where he went from the Dead Man and the Phenom to the Ministry of Darkness, and then the more realistic character had won.
Badass biker.
Yeah.
back to like that was a combination of the Phenom, American Badass, and Dead Man character that he is now. Like that, it's in depth.
Yeah. So with you being a wrestling fan, and we truly appreciate that. I love wrestling fans. Like I said, me being a pro wrestler, I love all my fans, any fan, regardless. Have you ever thought about crossing that bridge of fan to wrestler?
So, I did start classes in January.
Wow.
I was going to bring this up to her. This was my secret one for you because I didn't tell you about this. I knew about it, but I was like, when I get her for the interview, I'm going to bring up the thing of her starting classes.
Wow.
I've been doing it for about a month now.
That is super, super awesome. What school are you at?
I'm at Creative Pro, which is Pat Buck and Kurt Hawkins' Brian Myers school.
Okay. Now, where are you located? Where are you based
She's
at?
in New York City.
You're in the city?
Long Island.
Oh,
Yeah.
super, super awesome. Oh, Kurt Hawkins is an awesome guy. We interviewed him.
We did. We interviewed Kurt Hawkins, known as Brian Myers.
Yeah.
He seems like a very nice dude. I will admit I am intimidated. I haven't taken a class with him yet. I usually go to the open classes and the Pat's classes just because he's a family friend of mine. But it's been a lot of fun. And like, there's some great people that have come out of that school.
Oh,
like,
definitely.
MGF, who just got signed with AEW, graduated from Creative Pro.
Oh, that's super cool. Super, super
Very
cool.
nice.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, and that's one thing that I always tell a lot of people, when I was training by a lot of people who claim to be trained by this person and that person, but no credibility behind it. And I was trained and I learned, but to be taught by someone who was actually in the business, who was actually signed by the WWE, actually knows their stuff and learned from someone who, knows their bearings is a great thing to have on the resume to begin with.
And then on top of it, she has the advantage of also living in Long Island, New York City area of going to Johnny Rod's gym.
Yep. Yeah.
As well.
Option too.
Yeah. I mean, it's and that area is a great area for pro wrestling, for independent
There's
wrestling.
Great promotions around here.
Yes.
Seriously.
Yes, definitely. But that's good. I definitely, wish you well on this venture.
Thank you. It's been going pretty well.
That's super cool. That's super cool. I'm coming up to 10 years and I'm getting ready to retire in ring. So, yeah.
Fair enough, man. The time comes for everyone, I imagine.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm too old for this anyway. I've been doing this. I started late, so.
That's fair.
He has been
6, so that's kind of late for the business.
See, I started at 33.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
he's been called the DDP of Western New York.
Super cool.
But
Very, very cool.
what? Now, when you said you would sneak out with your dad and everything, watch The Rock, was watching The Rock kind of the spark that gave you to be a wrestling fan? And then, of course, you said you got back into it with your boyfriend, now husband. What made you make the decision to finally cross the barrier and go to learn to become a wrestler?
Watching it as a kid, there weren't really a lot of, I didn't really remember the women's matches, you know what I mean? It was very much all about the dudes and just, the huge personalities and stuff, and the women almost felt like secondary, which they were at that point. And then kind of getting back into it with watching it with my now husband, the characters that the women have now are so fascinating, and the amount of work that they do, the actual matches that they put on are on par, if not sometimes better than the men's matches.
Yeah.
And so that really got me into it. So it kind of all started with my family friend, who is Pat's wife. We kind of grew up together, and so she mentioned, texting me out of the blue, oh, hey, by the way, Pat's school has an open house, you should stop by. And I was like, oh yeah, I was thinking about it, maybe I will. And the night before, I was like, I had so many dreams about wrestling. I think I had a dream where I tag teamed with Finn Balor and we broke Brock Lesnar, and it was fantastic.
That's awesome.
So I ended up, I was like, you know what? Something's telling me to go to this thing. I might as well go to it. And we went to the open house, and it was done by all of their students who have been doing it for about, I would say 7 to 8 months to over a year. So not any of their graduates necessarily. I think they had one graduate in their final match, but mostly people who are like still learning and like still are like showing what they were doing.
Right.
And I sat through 5 matches. The last match was like a triple threat. And I don't know if you know Chris Statlander's work. She does some great stuff. Her gimmick's kind of like alien inspired.
I've heard the name.
Yeah, that name sounds familiar. Yeah.
She is wonderful. She's one of their graduates as well. And I spoke to her for about like half an hour after the open house, just like talking to her about wrestling. And
super cool.
She's mainly the reason that I signed up for it, because I was like, you know what, I'll give this a shot. Like, let me just like come and observe a class. And of course, the class that I went to observe, MJF ended up teaching a promo class, which I got to like participate and sit in on, and it was very, very cool.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, that cinches it for me. I'm super intimidated by the physical stuff, but like I might as well just try and do it. And I tried it and I'm doing it.
Awesome. So how does your husband feel about his wife being a pro or training to be a pro wrestler?
Very, very nervous. He's super nervous about it. I took actually kind of like a bad spike last night, and I woke up this morning. I was like, oh, my shoulders really hurt. He's like, are you okay? Do we need to go to the doctor? I'm really not okay with this. I'm fine. It happens. I didn't like get knocked out or anything. We're good.
Yeah.
Just, like some sore shoulders. We're fine. It's all good.
Yeah.
But he's a little nervous about it. But I think he's very much. He's the one who bought me my first month for Christmas, and he's very encouraging about everything. Yeah. He just wants me to be safe.
Yes.
Understandable.
Indeed. That's one thing you have to get used to as a pro wrestler. You got to remember that you have to remember that if you're seriously hurt, then take care of it. If it's something that's just pain, just remember, I'm okay. Just keep saying that over and over. They're going to ask you continuously. Like my girlfriend always asks me, are you okay? Are you okay? Like, yes, I'm fine. I'm just in pain. Even though
on a scale, I'm not dead.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the scale of one to dead.
Yeah.
Yeah. As long as I'm like at a 8 or lower, I think we're okay.
Yeah. Well, with the Elimination Chamber just happening, what were your thoughts on the Elimination Chamber match for the women's tag team titles?
Man, that was a great match. It was very, very good. I was a little reluctant kind of going into it because I was worried that like it's an Elimination Chamber match, so it's not really a tag team match. You can't really tag into things, but there were so many great spots of the tag teams like actually working together and doing tag moves and stuff like that. I was very impressed. I was a little concerned about like the Carmella Naomi team because it felt like it was just kind of thrown together, but they actually had some real good spots, so I couldn't be mad about it.
They had the spots that they were allowed.
Yes, fair.
Withstanding outside stories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
we don't have to do that, but yeah.
Well, going into the match, who were you hoping to win?
Oh man, I really see. Like, I love heel tag teams a whole lot.
Yes,
so I love the Riot Squad. I love Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville right now, and I love the Iconics. So I was like, any one of you could win, and I would be very, very happy. But I like consciously, like as a fan, I was like, well, Bayley and Sasha are gonna win. You can't put your first tag team belt on a heel team. That's just not gonna work.
See, I think the opposite of that. I've always and this is my opinion from me being, if I ever am, maybe possibly a promoter in the business. Wink, wink. Nod, nod. I would put one of my bigger titles on a heel and build up my face to chase it. Like, I agree. I like heel champions and faces chasing. That's always like my go-to. But I think that you kind of have to establish like right off the bat, like, because this is one, like a momentous occasion, women are like succeeding, women have tag team titles now, so that's exciting. You needed that like super positive, women are doing their best now promo that Sasha and Bayley could cut. That makes sense.
The Iconics who would just be like, you know, the Iconics, or the Riot Squad would be like, we're going to burn everything down. You know what I mean? That
makes sense. But you know what? But see, and like I said, my opinion again, I think that you can still put a spin on it with the right heel. And I think with the Iconics, like I would have loved to see the Iconics win it, just because they have the They have that look, and plus they can spin it to say something like, we won this for all women, and it's iconic, but we still won it for us. They
because
can
we're better than you.
Exactly, because we're like we won it for women because it's a better brand or better win or whatever, but we won it for ourselves because we're iconic. Something like that.
I think that's very good. I would like to see the belt change hands by WrestleMania.
Yes.
And then have for at least the storyline until SummerSlam, let's say.
Have the heel team.
And especially because they need to get more tag teams anyway.
Yes.
So getting more baby faces to be chasing those titles would probably be the ideal situation.
Yeah.
Well, the advantage is them saying the titles are going to be defended against through all three brands.
Shows. Right, yeah. All three.
All three.
Oh, they're doing all three. I'm sorry, I must have missed that. I'm excited to see some NXT ladies get up in the mix, though.
That's going to be awesome.
It's going to be defended through all three brands. But at this time, we give our interviewees the floor for you to promote yourself, give all the information on how to get in touch with you, how to follow you, how to listen to your podcast, and all that fun stuff.
All right, fantastic. So, again, my name is Julia Schfini. That is JuliaSchifini. You can find my website at juliaschfini.com. You can also follow me on Twitter at Julia Schfini. I try and make it as easy as possible to find me on methods. And I also do shows like Spirits Podcast. I work for the Whisper Forge, which is a audio fiction collective that promotes underrepresented voices. I also work for Multitude, which is passionate people talking about things critically. And so those are my three big things. You can find me pretty much anywhere.
Well, truly appreciate you joining us. Thank you. This has been fun. We'll definitely have to have you on again. Talking some women's wrestling when we do From the Stands. We won't have you on as a podcast. We'll have you on as a fan talking. So we'll get more in depth with that one.
That sounds great.
But thank you for joining us. We truly appreciate it.
It's my pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Cyclone Jones, and I am with Pat G. The G stands for gangster. And remember, the TTRP is sponsored by the Gear Network store through Amazon. If you visit shopgear.com, it's a little bit different. That's shop. GERE.com, and click on any of the banners. It will take you right to your account, and you can do all your Amazon shopping there.
When you shop Amazon and Amazon Prime, but Amazon kicks back a small percentage of your purchases back to us here at the Gear Network, so we can continue to bring you the great program that you've come to know and love, like the TTRP Turnbuckle Talk Radio Podcast, Better Live Than Dead, the FTW Podcast, the JC Money Show, and Trust the Podcast from the Gear Network. So that's shopgear.com, SHOPGERE.com for all your Amazon and Amazon Prime purchases from us here at the Gear Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're back. That interview was amazing.
Yes.
We're definitely going to have her back on.
Our second collabo.
But really, was it a collabo? Because she didn't record anything.
She did record it.
She did?
She did.
For her interview?
She sent me the second recording, but I'm sure she'll post it herself as well.
That'd be awesome. Well, anyway,
kind of just to give it out.
Well, thank you, Julia Schfini, for joining us. Truly appreciate that. Like I said, definitely check out her podcast. And
Spirits Podcast.
Have a drink while you're doing it, though, because that's the whole purpose of the spirits.
They drink while they're talking.
Well, because drinks are considered spirits. Like, if you ever look at a liquor store, it says, whatever wine and spirits. That's the whole purpose behind it. So, yeah, if you didn't know that, you learned something today, Pat G. But, back onto what we talked about. The last portion of what we were talking about. Let's talk some scandal, Pat G.
Scandals.
Scandalous. She's so scandalous.
Well,
she's so scandalous. She's so scandalous.
This is why he's here.
That's Tupac. That's a Tupac song right there.
Corey Graves, who is pretty much the heir apparent to the WWE hierarchy as far as announcing.
Scandalous.
it's his wife.
She's so scandalous.
Posted on Instagram that he has been having an affair with the Princess of Staten Island, Carmella.
Yep.
Multiple posts with text messages and everything. And then it came out over the last couple of days that Corey Graves and his wife have been going through divorce proceedings for 6 months.
Yep.
And he had texted her when she had first posted this stuff on Instagram saying, "You better stop this, otherwise the WWE will sue you."
Ooh, I didn't know that.
And he told her that, yes, he was seeing someone, but the relationship did not start until he was already had all his stuff out and moved out of the house.
Come on now. Wait. Before you even go on with that. Come on now, man.
Yeah,
we're all men here. You know you tasted the goods before she left, before you left the house.
Yeah. So the soon-to-be ex-wife of Corey Graves posted that 11 years I've been there behind your back through the alcoholism, through the suicide, through the mental health, through this and that.
So she was Mary J. Blige, basically. I was your lover and your secretary.
So it's the thing of, once again, somebody in the WWE has pretty much destroyed their home life.
Do you think? Wait. Hold on.
No. Because whether he had been with Carmella before or whatever, a lot of people are going, "Oh, well, you're just like Bray Wyatt. You destroyed your home life and a person you were with for X amount of years for somebody on the road."
Hold on, wait. Oh, yeah, because Bray is with
Bray and JoJo.
Yeah,
and
JoJo's
because Bray's ex-wife sued him for everything she could get.
Yo, JoJo's fine. I'll probably do the same thing though. Have you not seen JoJo?
I have seen JoJo. Is this something I'm going to have to edit out based on earlier conversations?
Nah, you good. You good.
Okay. Just making sure.
Nah, you good.
I'm just making sure. But it's one of the things that this is the world we live in now.
Yeah. This is the world we live in. Oh, these are the hands we're given.
Once again, karaoke night with Cyclone Jones.
Sorry, you just hitting points right now. I'm singing.
I am. But this is the world we live in as far as social media and pro wrestling. Is nothing's secret.
No.
Anymore.
No.
Nothing.
Not at all, mate. Not at all.
But moving on from Corey Graves.
Yes, indeed.
On to Leo Rush. Leo Rush has it's been reported Leo Rush has some heat in the backstage area due to his attitude, the way he treats people and other wrestlers, and the quote unquote beating and pinfall he took during Elimination Chamber might have been a little bit of a punishment. Along with the possible split from Bobby Lashley.
Okay.
So there is that.
Listen, I don't know for sure. I mean, what happened? Okay. I mean, in all honesty, I think that Leo is learning his lesson.
Oh, absolutely.
He is I don't even know what to say right now. I don't know. Like when I met Leo, he was real cool and down to earth.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I know he had that issue before, And
I think it might have been resolved, but I think now that he's in more of a higher end spot.
Yeah. You think that it's still going on?
He might have gotten a big head again.
Yeah.
And think that he can do no wrong and whatnot.
I don't know, man.
But I don't know. But last but not least, Ty Dillinger, the Perfect 10, has requested his release from the WWE.
The man from Canada.
And he's just another man in a long line of people requesting their releases and or rumored to be wanting out of the WWE.
Yeah.
It's been announced that Dean Ambrose is leaving come WrestleMania.
Yep. Come April. His contract is up. And with April being his contract up and completely fulfilled, he does not have a no-compete clause.
Exactly. He can pretty much do what he wants after his contract is over.
Yep.
Also, it's been reported that Naomi and
the Usos,
their recent indiscretions legally were a way to possibly try to get fired from the WWE.
Oh, wow. Really?
Mm-hmm. Because the Usos are unhappy, hence why people believe they put the titles on the Usos.
Ooh.
Because Vince McMahon is worried that all his people are going to leave him
to go to AEW.
On top of this, Vince McMahon is hurt and angry because the Undertaker is doing StarCast.
He's taking independent bookings, baby.
He is not happy that the Undertaker is taking these autograph signings and so on and so forth because he's so close to the man and the character.
$10,000 a pop, though.
Oh yeah, don't trust me. It's not cheap.
10 G's. It's 10 G's.
Yeah,
it's 10 G's. Oh, believe me, it's 10 G's. But if you do it right, you get that money right back.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, you may not get all of it back, or you may not get. You get. I mean, you can either break even if it's done right, if it's at a big enough event.
Yep.
Or you're gonna come close to getting your money, but you get your name out there with the Undertaker, though.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You put a picture up on. You put a poster of you're running your show and going special appearance by WWE's Undertaker
by Mark Calloway.
Calloway the Undertaker. People are gonna go whoosh.
Yep.
Tickets be bought.
Yep. But I mean, so with that being said, man, WWE. This is something that WWE has, been building up to happen, and I say that meaning. They've been taking their people for granted for so long.
Oh, absolutely.
And now they have viable competition.
They do.
Viable competition now. Cody Rhodes is a name behind a company.
Yep.
The Young Bucks are names behind a company.
And they have two people with a lot of money.
It's not just Timothy Strohan.
Nope.
Booking Cody Rhodes and the Young Bucks.
No,
it's the Young Bucks and Cody Rhodes. They are the head of this company.
Also,
so that means it's names.
Also, Billy Gunn's a promoter.
Exactly.
Or a producer.
Billy Gunn's a producer. You got
there's other guys that are going to be producers and agents and writers and whatnot.
Yeah. I mean, so with that being said, and they know Cody is a good brother. So they're going to get taken care of.
He's talked about instituting health insurance.
Yeah. Because he knows what's needed.
Exactly.
This is the evolution of wrestling right here.
It is. It absolutely is.
Let's call a spade a spade. This is the evolution of wrestling right here. And Cody was taught by his father, who was a booker, who was a promoter, who was a wrestler, all of that good stuff.
He grew up in the business.
So this is the evolution of pro wrestling right now. And I'm waiting to see how this unfolds. And then on top of it, you have Kenny Omega. Yep.
You have Chris Jericho. You have Pac. You have AEW's also signed Nyla Rose.
Yep.
They've I believe they signed Sonny Kiss as well.
They did sign Sonny Kiss. They signed Sonny Kiss. They signed Nyla Rose. They signed what's her name? I can't remember who's going against Nyla Rose in the triple threat. It's a triple threat now. I'm trying to remember her name.
Britt Baker. They have Britt Baker, I believe, as well.
Yep. Who else? Hold on. I'm bringing her up now. Where is it? Oh my gosh, I can't remember her name. Anyway, they got Kylie Ray.
Oh yeah,
Kylie Ray. They just got Kylie Ray.
Yep.
So
they have Hangman Adam Page.
They got Pac, who is, you know,
SoCal Uncensored, Christopher Daniels and Frankie Kazarian.
Yeah, like they have names and they have independent names. So they have names that have been at the big dance on big companies, and they got big independent names as well.
And
which
brings
in
Julia Schfini mentioned, MJF, Maxwell Jacob Friedman.
Yeah, which brings in a huge roster. So you got people that know these names from the TVs.
Yep.
Oh my gosh, it's Christopher Daniels. I gotta go see him. Oh my goodness, I love Christopher Daniels. But then you got hold on. But then you got names that people that don't watch the TV wrestling because they hate it.
Yep.
But they see the indies and love the indies. Oh my gosh, we got Nyla Rose. I love her. Oh my goodness, let's gotta go see her. Oh my gosh, she's going against Kylie Ray. I know her too. Oh my gosh, let's go watch. The show sells out in 4 freaking minutes.
It did. 4 minutes. 4 minutes.
How the hell do you sell the show out in 4 minutes?
In Las Vegas.
Pat G.
Yeah.
Answer my question. How do you sell a show?
By booking names that everyone knows?
Pat G, how do you sell a show out in 4 minutes?
Knowing what the fuck you're doing?
It's called the evolution of wrestling. Ladies and gentlemen, that's our show. We truly appreciate you listening to us.
Thank you, Julia Schfini, for joining us.
Always truly appreciate that. You know, we'll definitely have you back on. Remember, Turnbuckle Talk Radio Podcast. We are on the Gear Network, ready for you to listen to. Check us out anytime you want to. Check out the old shows as well. They're there as well. Pat G, send us home.
I don't do that. That's your thing.
That's my thing?
That's your thing.
Oh, Cyclone!
The preceding presentation has been brought to you by the Gear Network.